Rarely has mankind hesitated to eradicate the creatures that stand in the path of his conquest. If we find intelligent species, ritual extraterrestrials, undesirable invaders from another world, the must be destroyed if possible in our dark past. Watch out and pray.
Hello, greetings, welcome, ladies, gentlemen, FBI agents, and whoever might be listening out there. This is Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind, episode 12. We are getting into the SCP Foundation today, one of the internet's greatest mystery websites. And, of course, I'm here as usual, Tasker, and our resident internet historian, we have Nick.
Hey, don't go to Italy, am I right?
Oh, jeez.
What's going on over there?
Coronavirus has struck a lot of places. They say the death toll's pretty high, but also more people die from flu and AIDS and literally diseases that have been around for years. Like, it's not that scary.
It's really not that scary. But dude, okay, people have been buying paper towels, antibacterial stuff, toilet paper, sold out all throughout the U.S. It's crazy.
I fucking hate coronavirus because every time I go to, you're right. Not only that, I went to the grocery store and weirdly enough, only all the gluten-free pizzas are gone. The regular ones are still there. I thought that was really peculiar.
You forget what town we live in.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
A bunch of gluten-free people.
Yeah, everything's sold out. Everything tasty. Water is really hard to buy. And like, oh my God, I'm sick of it.
You guys couldn't see Tasker, but he was furious right now. I've never seen him get like that about something before.
They're fucking with my food, man.
Oh my God.
That's not cool.
Yeah, don't go to Italy. Don't eat the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into the episode, guys, I do want to point out real quick, we have a listener in Ohio now who's listened to 12 episodes.
Very dedicated. We appreciate it, and we feel like you deserved a spot on the show of glory and huzzas.
So we want to know what's going on in your life that's making you listen to this podcast because somebody hurt you.
Yeah, either it's something's going really bad or really well.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for listening. Really appreciate it. And I said 12 episodes while we only had 11 out. So that means maybe they listened to another one.
We're going under the assumption right now. So we're hoping maybe the last episode was just like after reptilians, he's like, dude, these guys are fucking full of shit.
Yeah.
He believes us so much that he's now dedicated his life to reptilian hunting and has no time for podcasts anymore.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I help people. You can hear the desperation in our voices. Please remember, rate and review on iTunes.
We need this.
All right, but today, like Tasker said, we will be beginning a series about the SCP Foundation and the objects and creatures that they hold. For those who don't know, the SCP Foundation is an organization that locates and contains anomalous objects and creatures that defy natural law. That being said, SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. In this series, Tasker and I will both choose one or two documented SCPs to read and discuss.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, yeah, these things have been... You've probably heard of these before, or if you haven't, good news. It's a really interesting stories of like creatures, monsters, cryptids, kind of outside of like the norm. So this ain't like Bigfoot stuff. This is like really deep on like horror film, like something like, I know Slender Man is not an SCP, but that's sort of like the level of like spooks we're dealing with.
If you're dank and if you're deep into the internet culture, you will probably know what an SCP is, or if you're like a filthy 4chaner, or if you go on Reddit, if you go anywhere on the internet, you will probably know what an SCP is. But for those who don't know, we're going to go a little bit into it just so you know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about like the basics real quick.
Right.
So here's some terminology. First off, there are different classes assigned to each SCP to determine how easily contained they can be. The first is safe. This means that they are very easily contained, but this does not necessarily mean that they aren't dangerous overall.
So it's like, they're harmless. I'm trying to think of like, I was going to say that doll Annabelle, but no, that thing's really fucking dangerous.
Yeah, this is going to more refer to like the containment procedures.
Oh, okay.
They're easy, but the creature or the object itself could still be dangerous.
God.
Yeah,
oh.
but it's just easy to contain them.
So it could be Annabelle still.
It could be, absolutely. The second class is Euclid. They require some specific procedures to be contained, but once they have been contained, it's easy to keep them locked up.
So you got to catch them.
Gotta catch them all. Digimon was great, wasn't it?
I did like Digimon. I lived right across the street from my elementary school as a kid, so I was able to like sneak in the first half of every episode of Digimon that played on weekdays.
Yeah, with Pikachu and
I'm gonna
and
fucking
the tortoise
wring
guy.
your goddamn esophagus out and hang it out to dry.
Whoa, buddy! Did you guys hear that assault?
Yeah, man. Sorry, reptilian bits coming out. You know,
Yeah,
it's
apparently.
like it's like when Goku's like kind of like in between like Super Saiyan. You know, and it kind of like glows for a second.
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't have a childhood. Toonami, man.
Oh, you know what I was watching when I was a kid?
What?
Max and Ruby, like a normal fucking kid. What were you watching? Dragon Balls?
When I could catch it.
Oh my god. Okay, the third is Keter. Objects and creatures that are considered Keter require very specific containment procedures, and if not followed correctly, can lead to harm or death. They are also a lot harder to keep locked up once contained. So that's when we're starting to get in. That's like you want to avoid that. Like if you don't want to work at the SCP Foundation if you're assigned to a Keter class object or creature.
It's like the final boss version of them. It's the oh shit, like those things will destroy everything.
Yeah, and a lot of the famous SCPs, which we're going to try to avoid because it's been done a bunch.
Oh yeah, you could just Google or YouTube SCP and you'll get a top 5 list of like the really big hitters and stuff, and we'll probably get to them at some point or at least reference them, but like we really wanted to get into the ones that aren't as talked about.
Yeah, and a lot of those big ones, those are Keter. Those are the dangerous ones.
Oh yeah. Like just for example, I know there's the one that needs to constantly have somebody looking at it at all times. And the minute somebody breaks eye contact with it, it'll just start rampaging and killing people.
Yep, snapping necks, cashing checks.
Yeah.
That's what he does. And lastly, we have Thaumiel. I think that's how you say it. Thaumiel?
Sounds like an angel name.
Mm-hmm. These SCPs are quite rare and are used by the Foundation to find, contain, or counter another SCP. So they use them as weapons, essentially.
That's kind of fun.
It is pretty fun, but there are not a lot of them out there. Now let's talk about how we will be referring to these SCPs. Most of them have names, which we will mention, but they are also given numbers, and that's how they're most commonly known. For instance, SCP-057 or SCP-243.
Makes it really fucking hard to remember which ones are which.
It does. Because everybody you talk to on the internet, they know the SCP number, but not the name is hard to remember, and it kind of makes me think maybe we're all a little autistic if it's easy to remember like code sequences of numbers. A
little savant magic going on there, huh?
Yeah, a little Rain Man. Now, we have covered the, I think, required information to kind of know what an SCP is. All you got to know is it's just you got to get scared by it. All right, you just got to get freaked out, and you got to know what we talked about, and now we can get into it.
Yeah, basically. And all of this stuff you could look it up online, SCP. There's thousands of these things, right?
Yeah, there are literally thousands. There over 5,000, I think. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, so if you're ever interested or want to look them up, like they're all here, you could all look them up. We're just going to give you a little dive into it, a little bit of a glimpse into a couple of these creatures.
All right, Tasker, how about you go first with one of the ones you picked?
Okay. I'm going to go for the one that's like the more chill first. I picked 2 of them. Let's see. I'm starting with, this is SCP-343. Object class is safe. So that means this thing is very safe to contain and very easy to contain. Let's see. So it's the procedures for containing SCP-43.
SCP.
343. God damn it.
SCP.
Oh, I hate waking up. It resides in a 6 point. Fuck.
All right, you want to just take it from the top?
Yeah.
Everybody, bear with us for a second. All right, we got this bear just rolled out of bed and he's ready. He hasn't had his coffee yet.
Yeah. For all we know, that was actually my hypnotism at work there. So now, if you're under my command, you're welcome.
I think you just had a stroke. All right, let's take it from the top.
SCP-343. Okay, come on. Don't tell me that's not an easy. That's hard to say.
It's easy. It rhymes.
SCP-343.
It rhymes. What do you mean it's hard to say?
It's super hard to say.
SCP-343.
Yeah, it's just because you probably practiced it beforehand.
Why would I practice your SCP?
Fucking, yeah, because you knew I was going to blow it, huh?
Whatever, just go. Just read them.
It is in a 20 by 20 room, 20 by 20 feet room at Minimal Security Site 17. It should be brought any items it requested and visited by at least one staff member each day. Attempts to add further safety precautions or required clearances are unnecessary/impossible due to the nature of SCP-343. So the description is, it is a male, seemingly raceless humanoid and apparently omnipotent. SCP-343 was discovered walking through the streets of Prague and detained after a staff member witnessed him disappear from the streets and reappear on a rooftop. SCP-343, interestingly, is detained willingly in its chamber and containment because, well, it's willing because containment is actually impossible. So now, the colloquial name for this SCP is God by the staff because he looks like an older man, and although his features are different to each observer. In first talks with him, he claimed outright to be the creator of the universe. When asked him to prove this, he laughed, walked through the wall of a chamber, and returned seconds later with a hamburger.
You guys want anything? I'm going to go out and get something to eat real quick.
You guys want a Happy Meal? When an agent returned for a second visit, the previously bare cell had been furnished in an upscale Old English style, complete with a roaring fireplace, and seemed to be many times larger than it was on the inside. SCP-343 greatly enjoys speaking with people and seems to have a knowledge of all topics. Visiting SCP-343 has become a daily event for many of the staff here, and all employees report feeling generally happy after every visit. Attempt to bar staff below Level 3 clearance has been proven unsuccessful, as guards assigned to watch the room quit their post saying, he likes company, or shrugging when questioned. SCP-343 has thus far been harmless. All staff have been allowed access, and somehow all have time to meet with him for as long as they need. So he's a pretty nice guy.
He seems like he's just bored.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what? I'm God, so I'm just going to hang out for a little bit with these mortal idiots. Let them think they can contain me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go out and get a hamburger every once in a while. And if they want to eat like chicken nuggies or like something, I'll get it for them.
Right, exactly.
But other than that, just talk to me about all types of topics. I like talking about pizza toppings and what should or shouldn't be on pizza. I like talking about different seeds you could use when you're gardening and like what season you should what season should you really grow tomatoes?
Right, that's important.
And I'm sure there's nothing that a SCP guard loves more than talking about gardening tips with God.
Well, yeah. Well, even if it's not working at the SCP, just a stressful job in general. And literally, it's like a built-in therapist that you could walk in whenever and just have a chat. And not only is he just like willing to listen to you, but like he interacts. He's just like, hey, like, no, I got opinions too. And even might have a couple answers for you. He might sound like a crackpot pretending to be God, but like, who knows? He might actually be God himself, just like you said. Just kind of bored, just kind of like, hey, I just kind of want to see what's up with humans. And okay, they want to contain me. Like, okay, all right,
maybe that's his fetish.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe he's super into being contained, and every time the guards go to check on him, he just has his ass cheeks spread out, ready to go, and just like, I'm just over here, just being contained, just waiting.
Sure would be a shame if someone were to come in here a little adventurously,
Like, don't break into my containment facility here.
My quote unquote containment facility. Oh, geez. So that's a fun one. I like that guy. He just like, it's one of those you walk away. It's good to start light.
Yeah, I like that one. That was a good choice, man.
Oh, thank you. All right, now let's see what you got. You got two of them, right?
I got two. Yeah, we'll go back and forth.
All right.
So this one is SCP-113, the gender switcher.
Oh,
I believe it's the switcher, not changer.
Mm-hmm.
Object class is safe. Okay, So that's good. Special containment procedures. SCP-113 is to be kept in standard storage in Site-23. SCP-113 may be handled with laboratory gloves. No organism may be exposed to SCP-113 without prior approval. Personnel exposed to SCP-113 are to be kept under medical observation for 7 days.
Ooh.
Description: SCP-113 resembles a small, polished piece of red jasper. Analysis shows that SCP-113 is not composed of jasper, but redacted composition, similar to that of other recovered objects.
I just want to jump in real quick. In these articles, there is information that is quite literally says redacted, like parts of it are pulled off of it. The reasoning being is that these are technically classified documents or something, right?
Yes. So I cannot tell you what the composition actually is, but I can only assume it was maybe jizz.
Yeah, most likely.
When SCP-113 comes in direct contact with the flesh of an organism possessing sex chromosomes, the organism's physical characteristics associated with gender and biological sex are transformed, including genetics and secondary sexual characteristics. Like, I don't know, what does that mean? Like tits, right?
Yeah, secondary.
Secondary? Okay.
Yeah, its primary would be genitals.
Yeah, I'm not a biologist. All I know is I dig it.
Glad to see you're discovering new stuff about yourself.
Yes, so these are reversed or altered. The process occurs in 4 stages. Stage 1 lasts approximately 0.2 seconds. SCP-113 bonds with the cells that it touches and induces an unidentified chemical change. This process causes the tissue damage similar to mild burns, and SCP-113 cannot be removed from contact with the subject until all stages are complete.
Ooh.
Stage 2. I mean, sounds like my ex-wife. Stage 2 lasts approximately 20 seconds. SCP-113 emits a low-intensity electromagnetic wave, which travels through the subject's body, making them come. That's not in there.
Oh, okay. It makes sense.
It does. It does.
Oh, man. Okay. So it doesn't make them ejaculate.
No, unfortunately. Subjects may experience nausea and vomiting, along with a stinging sensation throughout the body. I'm stinging. Step 3 lasts approximately 60 seconds. Throughout this stage, the subject's cellular makeup is temporarily transformed. Altered cell composition ranges widely from being unidentifiable as human to a unique variation of partially differentiated stem cells. The subject will experience intense stimulation of all sensory nerves during the final 20 seconds of this stage and describe this part of the process as extremely painful, but I look at it as extremely sensual because I think I was right the first time. I'm pretty sure this is just a guy jacking off.
Yeah.
Subjects in poor health may die of shock in this stage.
Oh, man.
Oof. Okay, that's not good.
So I'm wondering, too, if like the it's like just an overstimulation. It's kind of like, when you finish, but, they're still sucking.
Yeah, it's like one of those where they make the face. That's probably exactly what this SCP
but
is
just
doing.
like all over. That could kill you if you had enough of that.
Yeah. I mean, okay, think about it like this. If this is an SCP that changes your gender, and this guy's talking about jacking off, probably.
Yeah.
If you change gender, wouldn't you just start doing something? Like, wouldn't you just test? You got to test the waters, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. If we have any female listeners, like that's a question for you. Would you, if you suddenly had a wiener, would you not basically just jack off right out the? You want to know what the rage is all about.
Yeah, and vice versa. So this one is starting to make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Stage 4, SCP-113 disengages from the subject and becomes inert.
Oh, so it's had its fun and it needs a little reboot, huh?
Exactly. He's like, okay, guys, I've been switching too many genders. Let me go ahead and just, I've seen enough dicks for one day. I'm going to disengage.
Go here, drink some water for a bit.
Smoke a cigarette, Subjects with sex chromosomes, atypical for their species, such as intersex humans, are affected in unpredictable ways by SCP-113. In human intersex subjects, this appears to be influenced by gender identity. Such subjects may be unaffected, or their bodies may change to match baseline male or female bodies, with sex chromosomes to match, or other results may occur. Usually, change seems to match or partially match subjects' gender identity during initial use. If the gender identity is not standard, whether SCP-113 alters its effect based on the presence of a non-standard gender identity is under investigation. Okay, we're getting a little progressive.
Yeah.
All right. They lost me.
I was kind of like
Not that I
not paying attention for a second there. I got really technical.
Yes. Not that I don't support all the different genders out there, all 80 of them. But they lost me at this and I'm confused. I'm going to end it here. Just know that SCP-113 literally changes your gender to what it is not currently. Okay.
I love how, dude, I literally like went right back into like my old like student mindset of just like just kind of looking at other shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, I became your professor for a second, didn't I? Tasker, are you taking notes, buddy?
actually,
This is going to be on the test, you know.
yeah, there's a tip actually I learned is if you're having to take notes, or it's like if you're in a lecture and like you have to take notes, otherwise you'll like get in trouble, and you like, but you really just could give less of a shit about what they're talking about. That's the time to actually teach yourself how to learn to be ambidextrous. And if you're right-handed, just start writing like the alphabet with your left hand, so it looks like you're taking notes when really you're just fucking writing shitty letters.
Or you could teach yourself to do the same thing by fapping under the desk and just switch hands.
Or you could just drop out of school.
Drop out of school.
Yeah, just
You
go
heard it here
leave.
first.
Yeah, go hunt aliens.
I mean, come on. What are you gonna do with a degree, and what are you gonna do with the student debt that you accumulated in order to get that degree? Like,
Right.
what are you gonna do with it? You may as well go to Sedona, start wearing turquoise,
Always turquoise.
and then just start looking at the sky for aliens. Make sure you're taking notes because then you're being a scholar about it. If you're
Yeah.
just into Sedona wearing turquoise, looking at the sky and not taking notes, people are going to think you did too much peyote and that you should be thrown in jail. I have not been there personally,
We're working up,
but I'm going there.
The Patreon, once that opens up, we can start.
Yeah, fund my trip to Sedona to get thrown in jail. All right,
Perfect.
that's what I want to do.
And that's all for your entertainment, everybody. We're here for you.
Yeah, I'll record all of it. I don't give a fuck. Don't tase me, bro.
That'll be on the Patreon reward list. We got to see the live feed of Nick in prison as his slow descent into madness.
Yeah, as the soap slowly falls out of my hand.
We'll play that in slow motion.
Yeah,
too.
it'll be on Facebook Live for everybody. All right, Tasker, you want to do your next one?
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna get a little bit more spooky. Really quick before I start. So basically, just in summary though, for yours, the one that you just did, it's just a stone that basically gives you a painful orgasm and turns you into the opposite gender.
Yep.
And then there's some complicated shit if like you're intergender, but
If you're like a hermaphrodite, or if you're like don't have a, like, I don't know, if you're like a foxkin, or like a
it senses that. And
Yeah, it's like
and then
a-
it becomes unpredictable at that point.
Yeah.
So if you do find yourself in a situation of not being a, like, you know, male, female, gender fluid, I'm confusing myself.
We're treading dangerous water right
We
now.
are. So I'm gonna.
Okay, I already said foxkin. That was offensive enough. There are many other things we could say. Look, for all of you listeners out there who don't identify as either male or female in particular, we're cool with that.
Yeah,
Just leave me out of it.
You just know that if you touch this stone thing, some weird, unpredictable shit will happen.
Something's going to happen.
And that's the point.
Yeah, so don't touch it. Don't
Yeah.
touch the stone. Even if you're a dude who is just a dude who identifies as a guy, unless you want to be a girl, which sounds kind of cool,
It could be fun.
then don't touch the stone though.
Yeah, actually, I take that back. I've heard many horror stories about being a woman.
Same. So
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm good.
Actually,
the
yeah.
way I
So
am.
second thought, I don't think I'm going to touch it either.
No, but actually, ladies, take this opportunity to maybe switch over.
Yeah,
Get rid of some of those horrors, like birthing a child
exactly.
and bleeding out of your vagina.
Yeah,
Sounds awful.
Oh yeah, and I do hear that most women want to do the helicopter dick thing. It's not as fun as you would think.
No, it actually kind of hurts.
Yeah,
Like when it comes down on the slope and it hits the balls.
yeah,
It's
no
like
fun.
you're sack tapping yourself, and that's not like, why would you do
Ooh,
that?
Yeah.
I may as well just pay some German girl to step on my balls with heels. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, at least helicopter dick is free, but hey, to each their own.
Yeah. All right, go for it, bud.
Okay, moving on. So this is SCP-1981. This is we're getting a little spooky.
This one's weird. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
a weird, spooky one.
So, of course, object class is safe. The containment procedures is it's to be kept inside a secure video storage unit at the media archive of site, redacted. When in use, SCP-1981 should not be removed from its casing or exposed to any strong magnetic sources. A Betamax home video system and an analog television have been provided. An observation theater 2 at site redacted, as well as video equipment to record the viewings.
It sounds like your basement. This sounds like your like torture basement.
It could be.
Where you don't want your hard drives to be hit by magnetics. You got like recording equipment set up everywhere. What are you doing down there, man? Like, you know what I mean?
Hey, man, we're all entitled to private quarters.
Not in my America.
Yeah. Then run for president. The election's actually this year, man. It's not too late.
I'm already in. Yeah. I was in the primaries.
So yeah, write in. If you don't know who to vote for or you don't care to vote at all, yeah, just do a write-in vote for Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bring the truth to you guys. I'm going to do a JFK. I'm going to ask for classified UFO documents and get shot a week later.
Yep, probably. Oh, man. Last election, there was a lot of write-ins for Harambe. I remember that.
Those were better times.
That was a fun time. It was a fun time. I miss him.
I always miss him, dude. It's been like, what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
But,
And for the podcast, too, I just love that we actually had a time where we were trying to put together a Harambe cult because we were trying to capitalize on that tragedy.
I mean, because okay, guys, if you're listening to this and you've come this far, clearly there's something drawing you in. Okay,
Yeah.
Maybe it's our charisma, and
Maybe.
hopefully that's what it is. But we were going to utilize our charisma in order to make money off of people who were mourning Harambe's death. So, but we didn't go through with it.
We never did.
Yeah.
And what was it like? The whole we had our whole caste system set up and the highest form of what is it?
The highest on the hierarchy.
The highest ranking, was silverback.
Silverback.
We're talking gorillas.
Monkeys are stupid. They eat bananas.
Oh my god. Okay, back to SCPs. So the description of SCP-1981 is a standard Betamax tape, and it is labeled Ronald Reagan cut up while talking. And that's on an adhesive sticker written in felt tip pen on the outside. So it's like an old VHS tape.
Wow, the 90s.
Yeah, right. Those things are old.
Well, Betamax is actually older, isn't that the 80s?
I think it is, yeah. Well, 1981, yeah, that's like Reagan's time. Right?
I don't know, man. I'm a millennial. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff.
Anything before 1995 doesn't matter.
Yeah,
huh?
anything before what was it, Kinder Eggs and Game Boy Colors, it can go fuck itself.
This is fair. So, laboratory analysis indicates that SCP-1981 is made of ordinary material and serial numbers corresponding with home cassette tapes produced in September of 1980. SCP-1981 was initially encountered by a filing clerk in the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in 1991, who, upon watching it, alerted the police with the intent to find the tape's creator to press obscenity charges. Low-level police investigation was conducted, at which point the Foundation was alerted and secured SCP-1981. Class A amnestics were administered before blank could be notified. Further investigation of the library's records by Foundation personnel failed to yield any leads on SCP-1981's origin. SCP-1981 appears to be a home video recording of former United States President Ronald Reagan delivering his Evil Empire speech to the National Association of Evangelicals at Sheraton Twin Towers Hotel, Orlando, Florida, on January, February, March 8th, 1983.
Did you just have to count out the months?
I did. So, I never.
For everybody listening, it says 3/8, and he forgot what month, what corresponded with March. I love it. We're in March.
I know. Sorry, man. I'm a little special.
That's okay. That's why I keep you around.
Thank you.
So you won't tell anybody.
Okay. However, at the 1 minute mark and 1 minute and 10-second mark, the speech begins to deviate heavily, eventually resembling no known speech ever made by Reagan. Beginning at approximately 5 minutes, multiple incisions, lacerations, and penetration wounds can be seen slowly inflicted, though no corresponding source of these wounds are visible.
Penetration, huh?
Oh, yeah, plenty of that.
Right.
On camera, too.
Wow, that was scandalous for the 80s.
I know, right? Fucking Reagan. Despite suffering bodily harm that would likely incapacitate an ordinary person, Reagan will continue to deliver his speech until either his vocal cords are severed or the tape degrades to static at 22 minutes and 34 seconds.
Damn.
So basically, Ronald Reagan is giving a speech as usual, but suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, he's getting all cut up and stuff, and the speech starts to go off into really weird places.
Yeah.
So, upon rewinding SCP-1981 and initiating playback, Reagan will deliver an entirely new speech, often radically different from the ones previously observed. Topics have included torture, child molestation, and ritual sacrifice. Trauma inflicted upon Reagan also appears to be divergent, with impalement, genital mutilation, and redacted having all been observed.
Wow. How bad is it that it was redacted? What do you think's really happening? Because they left in the child molestation and the genital mutilation, and then they redacted something. I wonder how bad that was.
Probably him.
Probably him in a furry suit or something.
What worse thing could possibly happen?
I would have redacted it too.
Oh no, Reagan.
What's your persona's name?
I mean, he did have Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay. In roughly one in 7 viewings of SCP-1981, a figure clothed in black robes and a conical hood will have replaced a random member of Reagan's press detail, henceforth referred to as SCP-1981-1. The significance of the appearance of 1981-1 is currently unknown. The speeches delivered by Reagan are mostly incoherent, lacking any sort of underlying thematic structure and largely being composed of nonsensical anecdotes and parables. However, occasionally references are made to future events that Reagan could not possibly have known about or predicted, such as the September 11th terrorist attacks, the results of the 2008 Russian elections, and redacted. For this reason, rigorous time and effort have been devoted to recording the speech delivered on each playback. Attempts to replicate SCP-1981 onto a similar Betamax tapes have been met with failure. However, cameras used to record the television SCP-1981 is broadcast on have succeeded in quote-unquote capturing individual playbacks. Any observations performed on SCP-1981 must be recorded on the camcorder provided and delivered for subsequent review to Dr. Redacted, the project supervisor. Years of natural magnetic interference have severely degraded SCP-1981's signal quality, making it even more difficult to sift meaningful information from the playbacks. Additionally, the gruesome nature of the mutilations performed upon Reagan have been described as extremely disturbing, and for this reason it is recommended that any personnel feeling squeamish or ill after playback visit the on-site psychiatry facility on a level 3 evaluation. God, it feels like I'm reading like out loud in class again.
You are.
And as Ronald Reagan was alive at the time of SCP-1981's containment, a surveillance net was deployed to establish any relation between him and SCP-1981. No known connection was developed, though Reagan would frequently complain about nightmares before his mental state degenerated due to Alzheimer's.
Damn. And there is a video that goes along with it that you guys can actually look up on YouTube. If you search SCP 1981 on YouTube, there's an actual video of the video that you can watch. It's unsettling.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet because I like sleeping.
Okay, yeah, I'll make you watch it tonight then.
Oh man,
when I'm spooning you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it does help because I'm awake that whole time.
Yeah.
But they do have like a couple like little like transcripts and stuff. I don't want to go too into it because that's just a lot more to read. But one of the most creepy ones is so like just as an example, one of the things where his speech will like divert. Reagan winces as if experiencing severe pain. Further consensus has proven that over half of all Americans still hate, eaten whole by void, the emptiness, the sadness, the blackness, the darkness. Audience laughs.
Damn, what are you talking about? Like John Goodman? That's crazy.
Also, too, that whole SCP-1981-1, there's one where literally Reagan is just no longer in the chair, and then that like hooded figure is just sitting in the chair by himself, and then it goes to black, and it just in big red letters says, "I see you."
Ooh, that's creepy, man.
Yeah. Not happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ronald Reagan can't hurt you, okay? He's been long dead, so don't worry.
Thank God, dude. I don't know if I could deal with another round of that. Not that I was alive for it.
All right, so here's my last one.
Ooh.
SCP 1006. There's got to be an easier way to say that. I'm gonna call him SCP 1006.
Cool.
Because it sounds like a robot. Object class is safe. Okay, so far we've chosen some safe ones today.
Yeah.
To kind of like, make you guys not shit yourselves yet.
Not quite yet, yeah. This is an intro episode, and we're still kind of getting our feet wet with this format.
Yeah. And there is a name for this one. It's called Spider Proletariat, and we will get into why it's called that.
Okay.
Special containment procedures. SCP-1006 is contained within a 213-meter radius in Redacted National Park and should be checked bi-weekly. Civilian access is to be denied by means of an endangered species. Cover story. Relocation of SCP-1006 is strongly discouraged due to the fragility of individual members and their sensitivity to habitat changes. Observation Post 45 has been set up within the containment zone and supplies SCP-1006 with various audiobook versions of communist and classical literature at SCP-1006's request, as well as black ink and poster board as necessary.
What?
We'll get into it. All personnel entering the containment zone are required to wear level C hazardous materials protection due to presence of fine particulate contaminants. Upon departure, a standard decontamination procedure, as per document FSP0371-D-B-07, is to be undertaken to prevent uncontrolled spread of SCP-1006. Now here's where we get into it.
Uh-oh.
The description. SCP-1006 is an organized collective of an unknown species of the genus Araneus, which is, I believe, the arachnids, like spiders and shit.
Right.
I'm not a biologist. That's like the 5th time I've said this on this podcast.
So this podcast would not be good for your dissertation of getting your PhD in
Don't
biology.
use us as sources. All right? If you want to get into your master's program, do not use us.
Or if you want to just stick it to your parents and say, hey, I tried, go ahead and cite us then.
Yeah, and we'll gladly help you fail.
Yeah, exactly. Just reach out. We'll give you our blessing.
Individual members have achieved sapience through unknown means and have established a rudimentary system of government resembling Marxist communism.
Sapience or sentience?
Sapience.
Oh, what the fuck?
It sounds like
We both went to public school. Keep in mind that.
yeah, and also I'm not bright.
I guess sapience,
What does that mean?
the quality of being wise or having wisdom.
Oh, okay. So
fuck.
like they have like a air about them and they have like knowledge.
Yeah, so it's not just sentience, but there's also like you can almost think of like Homo sapien. It's like that's a small. Holy shit, we're making connections here.
Look at that context clues, huh?
Holy shit, yeah. Oh, thank you, public school.
So right now, what we're looking at is a bunch of communist spiders who can think for themselves. All right, which is like my worst fucking nightmare. I have mad arachnophobia, and I still haven't recovered from the Cold War. So
not only you see a spider, it already ruined your day, but also they're trying to convince you that communism works.
hey, bro, you don't really need to have like all that wheat for yourself. So you could like give me some of it. You know what I mean? And then like we could just have like a bushel of wheat in the middle of our civilization. And we can all take from it, right? I'm like, no, it doesn't sound good. I work for my wheat, dude.
They just see you like doing dishes. Spider kind of like goes down on his web, lands on your shoulder, be like, "Yeah, working class ain't what it's cracked up to be." Yeah.
Hey, join me, bro. Let's do it. Bring down capitalism together.
What if I told you there was a way you could make just as much money with lease work?
I'm like, that sounds pretty good. You know, maybe they'd have some good ideas.
Turn the spider's got like a little beard.
He's got like a little hammer and sickle in one.
But don't tell local governments.
Oh, shit. The original mass of SCP-1006 was discovered on, I'm doing the same thing, April 1st, 19 redacted, by a hiking couple who alerted park authorities. The Foundation took over after the discovery of written propaganda inside the central web, along with evidence of marked use of extremely simple tools, webs resembling faces of passerbys, and simple attempts to block off the area via fallen branches.
I love these guys.
They're just some simple spider commies, dude. They're just trying to live their lives. Oh my God, you guys just witnessed him dying on... Oh my God.
I almost died on podcast.
Whoa, that was crazy.
I'm glad we got that on tape.
All this talk of communism is getting you all choked up, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting a little excited.
SCP-1006 is a social community, of course, with some members maintaining the web and others apparently chosen to maintain the agenda of the whole. And that's in quotes. Once supplied a source of black ink and poster sheets, SCP-1006 will communicate with humans by creating signs written in English. These communications are largely centered around demands for the dismantling of Western imperialism. A scathing critique of the bourgeoisie and a request for less mosquito spraying in the surrounding area of the park.
Oh my fucking God. Like, oh, it's just, you know, have you ever grown up and you kind of wanted to, like, if animals could talk, what would they say? And they all ended up just spouting Marxist.
they see some
literature.
They see some like hikers coming down the trail, and the spider holds up a sign that says "Down with the bourgeoisie."
Walk by the spider web. It's got the face of like Vladimir Lenin. Like,
oh God, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
The quote head unquote of the government is a large spider that resembles a wolf spider, taking up refuge in the largest tree of the cluster. That doesn't sound very communist to me.
Well, no, that sounds very communist. There's always an elites that take
you're
over.
right.
That's the natural flow of things and why communism does not work.
Remember, I went to public school.
Mm-hmm. Yep, me too.
Communication has been relayed with the spider, who views the outside world as something that belongs to us, that is merely being maintained by the bourgeoisie humanoids. It has given its name as benevolent leader, much like I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that guy in North Korea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great.
What does he call himself?
Supreme leader, I think. And apparently he can like do like break several world records in sports and stuff, but he doesn't release it publicly because he wants
impressive.
to be humble. Yeah.
Wow. You know what he looks like is a Korean grimace. He's got the same body type.
Well, did you see it when people Photoshop him to like have no weight, like fat on him at all? He actually does look pretty intimidating.
Well, I mean, hey, if he would just fucking watch his intake.
Yeah, right.
But you know what? When I mean, shit, dude, if I was like that in charge, I probably wouldn't watch my diet either.
Don't have to, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck him, though.
Yeah, right.
SCP-1006 is currently located in a cluster of black oak trees within a massive and complex central web and several secondary webs. The webs appear to be very well maintained, with damage being consistently repaired. The surrounding area has a nauseating odor due to the presence of thousands of dead insects, individual members of SCP-1006, and an occasional dead bird and small animal. I mean, look, a spider's got to eat.
This is true.
As much as I hate them.
I was going to say, if they're communists, so they probably aren't eating much, I'd imagine.
They're not, because they're sharing one insect. I mean, that doesn't sound very good.
Heavy quote on sharing, as in the elite eats all of it, and then everyone else is wondering what happened.
Yeah, they get the exoskeletons.
Yep.
Close study by our arachnologist. Is that an actual science? It says arachnologist. I know what they mean by that, but is that an actual science field? Like,
I have no reason to believe it's not, but I don't know. Could be made up.
Yeah. Interesting. So basically people who studies like arachnids.
Yeah, and if you are an arachnologist, let us know and tell us that we're full of shit.
Yeah, and if you are an arachnologist, fuck yourself. Yeah. Like, why the hell would you choose that as like an occupation? That doesn't make any sense to me.
That does kind of sound like your like mortal enemy.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I'd rather team up with the reptilians any day of the week than hang out with and get a drink with an arachnologist and be like, and then this nerd's gonna tell me about spiders for like 8 hours, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I don't want to know about this. I don't even want to see like a tiny one in my shower in the morning. Why would I want to talk to you about your fetishes of having you like make your wife put on like this costume that has like 6 extra legs and then you have her like it's all furry. You know what I mean? Like, dude, come on. I don't want to hear about that shit.
Some people would though.
Well, anyway, a close study by arachnologists and sociologists have discovered that the members of SCP-1006 utilize a central collective think tank that passes the ideas of the benevolent leader to the collective numbers through complex frequencies in the web. And here's an addendum.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, good. I can read. The skeletal remains of male human beings were found in an area of the web, surrounded by dead insects and a variety of small shiny objects, such as bottle caps and pebbles, along with the occasional pocket watch and bits of metal in apparent reverence.
Ooh. Say objects of worship.
I would say like a regular crow. Don't they, or raven or whatever, don't they like shiny things?
Yeah. No, birds are really smart.
Yeah, it's stupid. SCP-1006 does not allow the skeleton to be disturbed. but passive analysis indicates that the male died decades prior from a blunt trauma to the back of the head. Identification located near the body identifies him as a known political radical, reported missing from the nearby town of Redacted, Texas in 1976.
Oh.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe he was really, really pushing capitalism, and then these spiders were like, nope, bourgeoisie.
Ah.
You know?
Oh, so that could just be my short attention span. So it's the corpse of a politician?
Yes, from Texas.
And the politician wasn't communist. He was just a regular politician, right?
It said he was a political radical, but it didn't say what type of radical he was. Like if he was right-leaning, left-leaning, up-leaning, down-leaning.
Because I was going to say a possible explanation would be maybe he was like a big socialist, communist sympathizer or something like that. And maybe in his death, sort of that spirit energy is what gave birth to these spiders.
I mean, it could possibly be, yeah, you're right. He could have been like a proponent for communism or socialism.
Yeah.
Is that the same? That's like the same thing, right?
No, they're different.
Oh my God. Okay. So what's the difference between communism and socialism?
That's a really long, that's a really hard thing to explain. Even I don't 100% grasp it. I know that communism as a because communism is like the entire system is we split everything. Socialism doesn't have to be the whole system. Like things can be socialized. Like you could even think of like the fact that we all have a fire department that we all essentially pay in for. Technically, that's kind of socialistic. The fact that we all like, well, but and I was going to say the healthcare system is super not socialistic because it's worth a fuck ton of, we have to pay for it, which is all right in theory, except for they have us by the balls and that they know that we need this kind of stuff because if we don't have healthcare, we die. So they just jack the prices up like crazy and force us to do that. Anyways, communism as a whole would be like, so you can be capitalist, but also have socialism. Like, what's it called? Like when you retire, welfare. Yeah, that's socialist. But we have socialism in a capitalist society. The problem is people equate socialism and communism to be the same thing, or that socialism leads to communism, which is not true. You can be socialist without being communist. Communist is changing the entire way the country runs, which is what the USSR was trying to do. But the problem with it is, like I read this post one time that made a comparison with like why communism doesn't work. Imagine being in a classroom and, okay, the average of all your grades is going to be the grade that everybody gets. So everybody takes a test. And of course, the kids who do really well, do well. The kids who do really bad, do really bad. The average score ends up being about like 81. So all the kids who just like showed up with no sleep that morning or didn't even take the test are like, hell yeah, that's awesome. All the kids who normally would have gotten a 96 are like, what the fuck? Like, why bother? And then the average starts going down bit by bit by bit because the kids who put the work in no longer want to do the work out of the goodness of their heart because they're not getting anything out of it anymore. And the lazy kids are just going to keep being lazy because they're getting benefits for it anyways. And as you can see, it spirals down until eventually everybody fails. Now imagine that, but on millions of people, and it has to do with all your food. And now people are dying. It's just people don't do things for free or out of the goodness of their heart because they have themselves to worry about. And you have your own families to worry about. You have outstanding circumstances to worry about. There's too much chaotic things that can happen, and communism just won't work. Socialism, though, is just they like, hey, we should make this available to everybody and without it, fiscally ruining them. Like
that sounds pretty good.
It sounds, yeah, kind of
Trump 2020.
Yeah, he definitely does not. He's definitely not socialist.
And I was definitely paying attention to your spiel.
Oh yeah.
I learned the things. That's good.
Oh, cool.
Because I didn't pay attention in school.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
I paid attention on there was this weird time in my life where I never left my house and literally would just go on Wikipedia and just surf like one subject to the next. And that's why I know a bunch of random bullshit stuff that actually might not even be correct.
It's better than not knowing anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll take it.
But yeah, guys, that was our first episode for the SCP series. I hope you guys enjoyed the spookiness.
I almost want to say we should have our communist spiders be our mascot.
Yeah, and I hope you guys learned a little bit something about communism too, and why we should maybe push for it again.
Yeah, if y'all want to starve. One of the reasons, actually, and this is a quick one. I'm not going to go on a huge tangent, but one of the reasons, I think it was Khrushchev, and one of the reasons he decided to dismantle the USSR was they flew to America, and what changed his mind about communism was seeing our grocery stores, because we were completely stocked with food, and they were like, "What?" Because that is not a thing that happened under communism.
That's sad.
It's
maybe,
really sad.
Kim Jong should take a fucking trip over here to a local Ralph's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean Trump. Well, I was gonna say Trump already went there, but dude, if Kim Jong Un, whatever the fuck,
I think
his name
Un is the son. I don't pay attention to him because I look at it as like reptilians. Like if you, I don't pay them attention to empower them.
Yeah,
so
that's smart.
I'm pretty sure Un is the
Kim Jong-un.
fat one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean they were all kind of fat.
That's true. That's true. But if he came to America, dude, that guy would be dead in a heartbeat. Everybody would be trying to assassinate him.
Yep.
Like, because he's like public enemy number one here. Everybody hates him.
Yeah, and dude, like I hate to say it, but like most of our, I'm sure if he ever visited here, and most of our law enforcement will probably just be kind of like, just kind of like looking around while people are just beating the shit out of him in like an alleyway, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
there
exactly.
he goes.
So yeah, probably not the best idea, but it would be very enlightening, I think, to him.
Yeah. All right, but this is not a political podcast, so we did get into a little bit, you know, but we got to talk about the hot button issues like coronavirus, and we got to talk about I don't know, I guess we should talk about the presidency eventually.
Eventually. But yeah, to any of the agents that might be scanning through these podcasts, we do have no political affiliation. We are literally just some crackpots talking into microphones about monsters.
Yeah. So we're definitely not communists.
Yep. Please don't take us seriously.
I want to point out that was mostly satire.
Mostly. This is the part of the joke where we clarify we are in fact just joking.
Yeah, but guys, thank you for listening to our SCP series. That was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's always cool to just look and see what creative monsters are out there and spawn from the imaginations of the wonderful people of the internet.
Yeah, they're great, aren't they? It's communist spiders and everything.
I think that's my favorite so far. But social media, if you want to email us, also, if you have stories of your own, your local legends, we want to hear your story. We want to hear what's going on paranormally in your life.
Yeah. You let us know, guys. Come on. I know there's some weird shit happening in your town. Yeah. I don't care if it's like a ghost or an alien, or if the barkeep has been banging like the mayor's daughter. I don't give a shit. Just send it our way.
Yeah, and if it's like if it's creepy enough, we'll make it on the show. We'll make sure to give you a little segment.
Yeah.
So if you have those, email us at ceotpk1@gmail.com. Instagram too is at ceotpk. Our Twitter is at ceotpk1. Discord is, of course, discord.gg/b 6 uppercase C uppercase T 5 uppercase M and uppercase X. We got the notifications up, so if you want to go into Discord and just give us a hello, we'll probably say hello back.
Yeah, we literally have nobody else to talk to on there. So if you message us, we will probably message you back and talk and send memes to you.
Yep, exactly. And that's
because
actually,
we're lonely.
This is very true. And I mean, we only share memes between each other, so it would be great to be able to branch out.
Yeah, as long as you guys are cool with anything on the table.
Yeah, that's to be expected, because you might run into something that might upset you, and we're not really fully responsible for that.
Nope.
Sorry. But yeah, Count Chocula, we're still working on that. Don't worry, next week we'll make sure to really ramp that up.
Yeah, it's kind of my bad that it's taking so long. I ordered some books from Amazon about it's like one of them is a biography, one of them is an autobiography.
Yeah.
And it's just taking me way too long to read them. So I'm getting on it. And
one of the books actually ended up being made out of chocolate. That was kind of bizarre, right?
It was bizarre and inconvenient because when it got to my doorstep, it was half melted, and then my dog ate the other half. I had to take him to the vet. It was a whole fucking thing. So we're working on it.
Disaster. But until then, hang tight. Don't trust anybody.
DTA. I got to get out of here. I have a job interview.
Yeah. Good luck, man.
Hey, down with the bourgeoisie.